Hello, everybody. Welcome back to K-Prep. I'm really glad you joined me this month. We are going to be talking about a subject that oftentimes I don't think we realize that it is a very important part of kindergarten readiness, and that is social skills. Um, I think generally there's a tendency to assume that social skills just comes by children playing with other children when they're young, and that may be partially true, but the first and foremost place that they learn social skills is by watching the adults in their life and just simply modeling after their behavior. So make sure that you're doing the right thing. More pressure, right? We're going to talk about three just very basic social skills today that they really need to get. So let's just dive right in. We're going to first talk about expressing emotions. Now, as soon as possible, your child needs to be able to put a word and be able to name what they're feeling instead of resorting to throwing temper tantrums or throwing or screaming or whatever. So they need to be able to put a name to it. For example, instead of stomping their feet and throwing things and screaming, they need to be able to say, I'm angry or I'm frustrated or whatever the case may be. So make sure that you teach them what that emotion is. It's okay to have those emotions, but they need to know what to call them. And then once they have that name, then you teach them how to cope with having that feeling. The second thing I want to talk about is listening. Now, of course, everybody knows that listening is a very important part of school, kindergarten. So it is vital because without being able to listen, they simply cannot learn. I had sent a questionnaire out to all the kindergarten teachers a couple years ago in our county and asked them what was more important to them, a child walking in the kindergarten doors with a lot of academics. They knew their ABCs, they could count, with no social skills, or a child with excellent social skills that didn't have any academic knowledge. They couldn't spell their name, they couldn't count, they couldn't say their ABCs. I think I already said that. But you get the point. 100% of our teachers said absolutely the child that had the good social skills. Why? Like I said, if you don't have those social skills, you just can't learn. So that is important. And a fun way to do that is to play a game or some variation of broken telephone. And you start that out just simply by whispering a word in their ear and have them repeat it back to you. Before long, that becomes a phrase. Then you work your way up to sentences, and before long, they'll be able to tell you 2 or 3 sentences, but they have to listen. Okay? So that is really a good game for them to play. So make sure they have words for their emotions and teach them how to deal with that. That they know how to listen. And the last thing we're going to talk about is just conflict management. I think a lot of us adults need to learn this. It's an important skill, and they need to learn to deal with that conflict constructively. In kindergarten, what's that look like? I had that toy, I wanted to play with it, and before long they're fighting, kind of sibling type things. But they need to learn how to deal with it. Teach them a few simple strategies like you first. A great way to learn, taking turns is to play board games at home with your children. And make sure they understand that taking turns thing. If somebody's hurting them, they need to learn how to say, I don't like when you do that. Teach them maybe a little simple phrase to use, and work on that at home so that they know how to deal with those things. Initially, they're going to have to navigate that brainstorming ideas, and that's what you're here for. So just help them, okay, what can we do to solve this? What just help them through that. And so those three are all I'm going to talk about today. This is going to be a really short, sweet video, but I want you to think about those social skills because it's really important. They need to know how to listen. They need to know how to deal with those feelings. And they need to learn some conflict management because somebody's going to cut them in line. Somebody's going to take the pencil that they wanted, whatever. Just remember back to when you were a kid. And those children that don't have those social skills are the ones that generally wind up in the office and in trouble. And we don't want that for your child, of course. So I want you to work on those. And remember that they're just as important as their ABCs and all those other wonderful things that you're teaching them. And there are a great many books out there on their level that will teach things as well. And this is one of my favorites. It's called Wild Feelings. And this is the book that will be in the bag if you want to bag this month. Just ask me. It's called Wild Feelings. And it's a fun little book. Your kids will like it. There's one called Bad Wanda, or I can't even remember the name of it now, I'm sorry. But there are lots of books. Let me know at Family Resource Center, 642-2938, or let your preschool teacher know that you would like a bag for your child. I would be delighted to get it for you. And this is the book in the bag again. And I hope to see you next month. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you. Bye-bye.